Are you a happy W140 owner like this guy? But are you also a frustrated owner looking for a cup holder, and when you find one, you realize it doesn't hold the cups right, and you get frustrated because you can't put your arm back down on the armrest? Well, I think we've got a solution for you. Stay tuned for the W140 Handy Dandy FLOSSDVIP tray. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pete's Carport, and thank you for joining me for episode 2 of the VIP series interior build, I guess you want to call it. So basically we're going to be doing some mods on the interior using some custom pieces that I picked up from FLOSSDVIP. If you haven't watched the first video, go back, I'll link it below. But today we're going to be installing the front tray on the S500 W140 VIP build. So this is the tray that FLOSSDVIP created, and it's basically a custom tray that's universal, if you want to say, to go on almost any vehicle. The problem is most people mount it to some sort of piece on the car that ends up destroying it. So whether it's the dashboard or some kind of panel, and I did not want to do that. I wanted to keep this Mercedes to be able to go right back to stock and be fully restored and hold on to everything I can. So I kind of found a few different ways and then just settled on one, and I'm going to show you guys what that is. But I went ahead and I picked up this piece of wood to replace the panel that we're going to be basically attaching it to on the dashboard. It's right on the glove box, actually. And then these brackets here that we're going to mount to this, I think I'm going to go with 3 to 4 of them just because of the weight of this piece here. So this is a very heavy duty piece. So these will mount to this, and then I couldn't decide if I was going to try to color match the wood grain with this, but I think that it's going to be a little bit off and it will look more funky than if I just do it stained or painted black. So that's most likely what I'm going to do. So let's jump out to the car. I'm going to show you guys exactly my plans on this, and then I'm going to walk you through each process that I do. Okay guys, so let me show you what I was talking about earlier. So this is your glove box. You obviously have a release there, and then this comes down. Now once you have this down, you're going to have some screws, one of these on each side. You're going to have a screw there, screw there, screw there, screw there, and of course you have the other one on this side. Once you get those out, you can actually pull this down. Now ironically, my clip that holds in your glove box was actually broken. If you look at this, there's a little broken plastic piece, which I'll be able to glue back in. So this was just sitting in there with the pressure of this being closed, and I had issues sometimes opening it. Now I know why. So I'll be able to fix this, which is great. Now once you have these down, you can access your wooden piece. So if any of you are looking to even swap this out, because I know these do get cracked on a lot of vehicles, they're not super expensive if you can find them on eBay, and you can usually find some in good condition. I really wish I would have pulled mine from my parts car that I had, but I do have the door panel ones in case I want to do something with the door panels. But what I decided to do was get this piece of wood that I showed you guys just a little earlier, and the nice thing about this wood is you can see here, fits perfectly into that slot. So what we're going to be doing is removing the bolts that hold this wood piece in. Take the wood piece out, and then we're going to screw in some screws from this side to basically get this piece of wood gripped, and that's going to allow it to sit on here. Now it's going to come out further, which is what we want, because that is then going to allow us to attach our L brackets like so, and that's going to basically then allow us to mount this piece like so. Okay, the one downside is it is on the front of your glove box, but you still will be able to access your glove box, and for the most part that's not going to be that big of a deal, at least for me. And this eliminates having to drill into the dash, which is what a lot of people do, put a bracket on the dash, and you basically destroy your dash. So if you ever want to sell the car or go back to stock, there's no way out. So this is just something I came up with. Another idea I had was to make some L brackets, because if you go way back there, I measured it out 9 inches. There's a flat piece of plastic that you can screw into, and you'll never see that panel. And you can get some L brackets that come up here, and then like this, you can even make some aluminum that you can bend the right 90-degree angles so that it sits up here. And you could then technically make it so you can open the glove box, but it would be kind of too far forward, so you'd still block your glove box at that point, most likely, if you had it in any good position. So you're kind of stuck with making a bracket or drill into your dashboard here, which obviously nobody wants to do with these beautiful cars. You don't want to go destroying anything. And I have this perfect panel here. I don't want to destroy that, because I even thought about drilling into this, ordering in another one. But for $2, I picked up this wood, and I could try to match it with this, but what I might do is just stain it black or paint it black just to blend in, because you're not going to see it for the most part. If you see that panel going on here, you'd have to kind of come down here to really see it. So it's going to be hidden for the most part. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece, measure it out, take this piece off. I'm going to go ahead and fix this little clip here off camera, and then we'll go ahead and mock everything up and see if we can get it to fit in there nicely. Okay, so we've got this piece removed. So the backing on this is actually metal, and if you see here how Mercedes did it, it's very sturdy, but they used like a plasticky rubber style nut on there, which wouldn't have been super durable. And I realize now I would have had to really drill through this. I thought I could screw into it thinking it was a piece of wood, so I'm really glad I did not try to go that route. But now what we can do is use this to mock up the size. Now the nice thing about this wood piece is it is slightly bigger than the wood panel for the car, so it's going to wedge perfectly in there. I actually did some measurements prior. So all I'm going to do right now is basically measure this and go ahead and cut myself a piece. I'm most likely going to sand down the edges, but I want to fit it in there and just see how it looks first before we do anything, because it might slide in there really nicely, and with the edges might work better for the mounting. So I want to make sure that we do it step by step, and I'll fill you guys in on how I go. And of course, you can customize it to the way that you want it if you decide to go this route. But I really think this is going to work well for mounting on these dashboards here without really messing anything up, so that you could always go back to stock, because we never want to destroy what could be used in the future as a classic restoration car. So let's go ahead and mock this up. I'm going to mark it and cut it, and then we're going to go bring it out to the car and see how it fits. Alright, so of course the piece was just a hair too thick, so let's go ahead and sand it down so we can squeeze it in and get a nice fit. Alright guys, so I know this piece is not really going to be seen much, but I went ahead and basically used this spray paint here and some mineral spirits to thin it down. I sprayed a pretty heavy coat on, took a towel with some mineral spirits and just wiped it, and actually sprayed some more paint onto the cloth with more mineral spirits, and got it to be like a heavy stain. And it dries really quick this way too, so it's nice. You can handle it right away. You don't have to worry about fingerprints. I was going to go with a straight stain like this. I tested it out, and it's way off in color, so just wanted to fill you guys in. It's not going to really be seen much, but that is where this is what I ended up doing, and I just wanted to show you guys the process I did in case you like the way this looks and you want to do this on something at home as well. So stay tuned. We're going to actually let this dry off, and then we're going to be mounting it into the car. So from FLOSSDVIP, he sends along screws and a couple other hardware for mounting, but we're using more of a custom mount for this. So this is how the piece turned out. After being the paint stained process that I explained to you guys. I went ahead and used the screws to screw in these two brackets. I'm going to add a third one. I had to modify these. These were actually that long. I cut them down and I rounded the corners so they wouldn't be sharp, and then I left this part long because that's the piece that's going to attach underneath our actual tray. So now to install this into the car, basically you're going to be replacing that wood piece, and there are 3 holes along there that the wood piece had coming out like this, and it had little nuts attached to it. We're going to go into those holes this way, and I've already went ahead and marked, and I'm going to pre-drill the little holes, and then we're going to basically be able to use a socket wrench to get these screws. These screws I just pulled from ones that I had pulled out of car, I think the SC300 actually, and they seem to be the perfect length, and they have the sharp point, so I can go ahead and get them right in there and with a nice grip, and they have built-in washers too, so they'll work out perfectly. You may need to pick something up to do yours, but let's go ahead. I'm going to put it in and show you guys how it looks, and then I'll show you how the tray is going to attach to this. So real quick, before I put everything back together, this is how it's going to look. I've got the 3 bolts / screws that I put in there. Very, very sturdy, holding that wood on. And then we've got these brackets mounted here. I'm basically going to adjust these to be level once I get all the screws put back in, get this put back in here. And I also was able to glue this in here yesterday, and I let it sit overnight so it's nice and sturdy. Let me go ahead and put our mounting screws back in here, and then we can close everything up, level the tray, and then mount it up, and pretty much done at that point. Alright guys, so this is it installed. I went ahead and threw a standard water bottle, kind of a coffee cup, and my wallet in there to kind of give you guys an idea of how this is going to work. Let me jump around the other side so I can show you from a driver's perspective how in reach things are. Okay, now I'm sitting on the driver's seat and not leaning forward, and I can easily grab that first section. I do have to lean forward to grab the water bottle and obviously the wallet, but I'm not blocking any of the vents. I can still use the glove box, obviously with stuff in it. You're just gonna have it fall to the ground, but you can see it's sturdy. I am planning on putting 2 more braces on there, just because the screws don't go in super deep on this base, and there's only 2 screws on each. So I want to make sure the center, I might use one of those long brackets that kind of goes in the center for the extra stability, especially if somebody leans on it getting up. Obviously that still could rip it out, but the good news is you've got this piece down here. Now I did screw a hole there that I decided to move down on, but I think it matches really nicely. It blends in. From a standard perspective, you don't see that, but I think it's really great. I mean, this is from FLOSSDVIP, like all the other pieces I've done so far, and I'm going to do a full car breakdown once we get everything installed, which will probably be after the next video when we do the headrest. I'm going to have to do a headrest video taking the back seats off and showing you how to pull the headrest up, because I really want to install them with the brackets that came with them. I really like the way it sets on that. So once again, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport. I really hope you guys are liking this VIP style build. We're working on the interior and adding new features to it. Cup holders are a big part of what people do not like about the W140 as far as interior things. There's really no cup holders except for under the armrest, and then you lose your armrest, and it really is a pain in the butt. I've knocked drinks over many times not thinking and putting my arm down. So it's nice to have my armrest back and still have some place to put a cup. So have an awesome day, guys. My name's Pete, Pete's Carports. Like, subscribe, and share.